For our concluding remarks, I'd like to welcome the Secretary General of the EPP and the Secretary Treasurer of the Martens Center, Antonio López-Istúriz White, joining us also online. Welcome, Secretary General.
Hello and good morning or good afternoon, dear President Tusk, dear Chairman Weber, and dear friends from the Martens Center. Again, congratulations for this fantastic gathering in these discussions. Great stuff, good work. The topic of this year's European Ideas Forum could not be more timely. It is imperative that our political family discusses how the next decade will affect our citizens and societies. Due to the pandemic, we face a series of challenges in our society, economy, and future. However, we are also presented with opportunities to articulate these post-pandemic transitions, opportunities to build a sustainable economic recovery, to invest in our future and renew the social market economy. In this sense, I want to echo President Tusk and Chairman Weber's words in saying that our immediate priorities must be the creation of new jobs and the support of the industries most impacted by the pandemic. The pandemic has highlighted, I guess, the importance of sound public finances and the need for member states to respond adequately to unforeseen economic shocks. Our political family will continue to advocate for a governance model based on sustainable public finances and stable prices. For that purpose, a key element of Europe's recovery will be small and medium-sized enterprises. It is SMEs that drive our economy, creating jobs and bringing new products and services to our markets. As they rebound from the pandemic, it is more important than ever to ensure that the EU legislation does not put obstacles in their way, but in fact enables them to get the financing they need to start up and to scale up. International trade will also play a key role in the global economic recovery. This is why we must remain strongly committed to an open multilateral system of free and fair trade. Yesterday at the EPP Political Assembly, we approved a policy paper where we make this very clear. If the European Union wants to be a global player, we need to strengthen our trade relations with the world. We need to connect our trade and foreign policy agendas. We need to solve our trade disputes with the United States and strengthen our transatlantic partnership. We need to consolidate our trade relation with key players and regions in the world. Of course, without forgetting about our values. For instance, we should not ignore the fact that China is sanctioning members of our European family, members of the EPP. This is unacceptable. We cannot forget our commitment with freedom, push our climate agenda, push for democratization and human rights. But of course, not forgetting that we need to engage. If we do not find ways to engage with the South American countries, reach a solution to our negotiations with Mercosur, for example, other than the Chinese, also the Russians, the Iranians will do so. It is a matter of balance and timing. What is certain, however, is that we need a balanced trade strategy as a part of our long-term economic strategy. Nonetheless, the most important component of the recovery of Europe's economy, I think, will be arguable the European funds. For the first time, the European Union will enter jointly into debt. This is a historical moment for the European project, but it must be met with accountability and transparency. We need to prevent that irresponsible opportunists and populist politicians make questionable use of these funds, which were the result of European solidarity by all EU countries for the benefit of all EU economies and citizens. Thanks God, in some cases, EPP governments, I'm sure, will follow always the EPP line, and we are sure about that. Problem are socialist and other populist governments in some countries in the European Union. The European funds represent an opportunity to transform our economies and societies which we cannot afford to miss. It will enable member states to invest in their future and will help Europe become a leading actor in the transformation. These transitions will not happen in a vacuum. They must happen according to our European model and our European way of life. Indeed, Europe must remain at the forefront of combating climate change, also must gain the position of becoming a leader on innovation and in the digital revolution that is already transforming our industries and our households. But the European model of innovation must be about, and for the people, it must strive to improve the life of our citizens. That is why we want to empower young entrepreneurs. Indeed, the pandemic has increased inequalities across many sectors of our society, but we are committed to renewing our European social and economic model that will ensure that every person will have access to retraining our further education opportunities. Furthermore, we believe in equal opportunities for women in the labor market. We want to make sure that men and women receive equal pay for equal work. Now more than ever, I think also it is important that we protect European social fundamentals and increase living standards to empower families. Job insecurity, the impossibility of affording a house, and the uncertainty for the future too often prevent young Europeans from starting a family. We must build a new ladder of mobility for working and middle class families. In that sense, to succeed in holding the middle ground, the social market economic model must respond to the needs of ordinary working families. It must never, I think, become a remote concept with little relevance. As the pandemic has shown, the social market economy model must refocus on essential public services that our voters demand. Issues such affordable childcare, good quality schools, essential public services, etc. Finally, I think that the transition to a post-pandemic world must go hand in hand with Europe's autonomy, an autonomy based upon the EU's capacity to enact its foreign policy agenda independently and effectively. We need a ready Europe that can protect and defend our citizens from any arising menace, such as now the case of Russia, China, with their multifaceted hybrid threats, a European Union that can stand alone and secure its position in the world. Only through all these actions, we will be able to channel these very much needed transitions and ensure a prosperous future in this post-pandemic era. Thank you very much to my good friends in the Martens Center and also to all the participants. Thank you very much for your contribution.